A few weeks back, I had the pleasure to host Tara from @KiwiAmericans, and we did record a couple of videos together, and this is one of them.
Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we have Robin again with us. If you haven't seen some of the other videos I've done with Robin from New Zealand Pocket Guide, I will link them above. They are really good. And today you are not going to want to miss this video. We are going to be talking about why you should travel alone, the benefits of traveling alone. And you're not going to want to, you're going to want to watch all the, we have 10 tips, reasons why, and then there's tips at the end that you're not going to want to miss, that we're going to go through some. So make sure you stay tuned for the whole video because you're not going to want to miss those. And the reason why I have Robin here talking about this is because, as you know, I have 4 children and I have rarely been able to travel alone. I would love to travel alone. So yeah, I mean, I love my kids and my family, but you know, there are benefits of traveling alone, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to go through 10 reasons and then some tips at the end, so stay tuned. Okay, number one reason why you should travel alone is you can go at your own pace.
Yeah, so
one
of the best things about traveling alone is that you have no compromise to make, right? You do not need to make any compromises with your besties or anything like that. No matter how in tune you can be with your besties when traveling around a foreign country with a person, this is really first, that's really going to test that relationship, and not always for the best. But second, that means that you will have to kind of compromise on a lot of things while on the go. It should be on accommodation, things to do, methods of transport and all that. Now, traveling alone ensure that you'll be able to make this trip your own and create that once in a lifetime experience, catered, tailored, bespoke to you. And I think that's one of the main reasons why you should travel alone.
Oh my gosh, I want to do that so bad. You know, if you just want to stay in and sleep all day, you can't. If you want to say, I don't want to go there today, I'm just going to go to the beach, you can.
If you want to do 23 activities in one day, you can, which would be more my approach, personally.
Yeah, I know. I'm married, and he's the same way. Yeah, so...
We haven't told people we got married yet.
Oh. Okay, number 2, take everything in. You can kind of take everything in at your own pace. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
so when traveling with somebody else, usually, well, you tend to have a lot of time with them, chat a lot, and a lot of your focus and attention is usually meant toward your travel partner rather than toward the sceneries or the experience. And so really often, even I've seen that a lot when people are staying in marais, which are the traditional Maori house and communal houses, and a lot of time, you know, during the ceremonies and all that, you have like a couple of people which are either giggling or chatting or having a lot of their attention on each other and all taking pictures with each other and all that, rather than actually taking in the fantastic experience that is. So it will just basically you taking 100% of it in rather than just taking half of it.
And that's, and if you are a family, I mean, unfortunately, we end up planning our whole itinerary on what's going to make the kids tired, what's going to make the kids happy, what is it that your partner wants to do, and,
So what percent of that trip is your own left after that? What percent of that trip, when planning a trip with 4 kids and a husband, is left to be your own? And that's the point right here. Yeah, that's the point right here, right? If you do have the chance, and obviously, perhaps that's the point of like you may want to do that earlier on, or you have to rely on your husband and say, honey, can you keep the kids for 3 weeks while I hop off to New Zealand? That's a tough ask. But if you are able to do that, it will really genuinely make that experience even better.
I know, it really, to do things at your own pace the way that you want to, nothing better. Okay, number 3, you become more independent. And so this could be good or bad, hopefully you actually go back to your family.
Yeah. So a lot of people, and that's usually more, I think this point more is catered to people that want to come on a gap year in New Zealand or on a working holiday visa, all these kind of things. And it's truly where the rubber hits the ground, right?
Okay.
It is when you are on your own, you are on the other side of the planet, you've got to sort yourself, your life out, right? So you've got to open a bank account, you've got to find a job, you've got to find accommodation, you've got to find new groups of friends. Yeah. This is when traveling alone, taking a gap year alone, this is when you get the the once in a lifetime chance to forge your personality and become the person you wanted to be. If you felt like the person that you were back home was just not good enough, was not who you wanted to be, just because of the circumstances that you were living with, that you were just kind of put into a box from high school, you know, to everything, because you were always in the same little town or these kind of things. Now you have literally no baggage with you, and that's funny for, you know, literally traveling. You have your luggage, but you have no baggage, no social baggage, and you can become the person you always wanted to be. And I personally believe that this is the best life experience you can have. And so I think that anyone turning 18 should take a gap year to somewhere, and I propose New Zealand because it's pretty safe. But we'll talk about that in extra tips at the end.
In the extra tips at the end. But yeah, I totally agree. You know, become who you are. Try things. That's the thing, is when you're like 18 to 25, it's just important to take that time to try things before you've kind of decided what you're doing. You know, go and experience and see what you like.
And when you have to work out how 10 different hostels' laundry machine works, you are becoming an expert at house chores, and you're never going to be worried again. I can tell you that, because they all work differently and they all work pretty badly. Moving on. I have nothing against those. Yeah, I do have a lot against those machines. Grudge.
Okay, and number 4 I really like. Do only what you want to do.
Again, we're back to hashtag no compromises. You do not have to make compromises. You do not have to go to that hot pool to marinate and cook yourself in hot water for no reason with a bunch of strangers because she wants to do that. Hell no! You can go do whatever else you want.
Or hike like 50K.
Yeah, exactly. You can do absolutely what you want. So what I do like about it is, like, first, you do only what you want, but also that also means that you make the most out of your budget, right? Again, I really believe that this video is more tailored to younger people wanting to come to New Zealand for a gap year. You are going to be on a budget, right? If on that small budget you have to make compromises and you have to spend some money for things that you're not necessarily 100% behind, you will have some regrets. You only have one shot, one opportunity, as the guy that loves spaghetti says. So make sure that you make it count when you are coming to New Zealand.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to have some of those difficult conversations of people that you've kind of picked up along the way and now you're traveling with, and maybe like, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, number 5, do everything you want to do.
Yeah, so that's kind of similar as well.
Yeah, similar,
I think we just
we did do only what you want to do, do everything you want to do.
Okay, so that's basically the same point. I just got lost a little bit.
Just depends on different personalities.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of time, you're gonna have, as we said, if you have to decide to pay for things that you don't want to do if you travel with someone, well, you may also have to say, okay, I agree, honey, we're not going to do this one, right? You know, like, you're right, you're not really into this, we're not going to do that. Hell no, you by yourself, you can do all of the things you want to do, and you don't have to do the things you don't want to do. So it's like, get the cake, eat the cake, and sleep with a waitress. It's like all of it. It's perfect.
Oh my gosh.
What? Now, not don't sleep with a waitress, it's just, it's an expression. It is not. No. Well, it's hashtag, it's
a new one for me. Okay, so doing everything you want to do. I know, it's so great. Like, I can just tell you a story from a recent trip. My last trip last summer, I really wanted to do this one tour in this town that we're in. And, like, that was the one thing of the whole 2 weeks that I wanted to do. But I, went to book it, a couple days before. Yeah, so you have to be, like, 13 and older. So I had 2 kids that were not 13. And so I'm like, what?
And I think that is
so frustrating.
There's a thing in the human brain, right? That you usually remember the negatives first. And so when you're going to remember your trip back to New Zealand, the first thing you're going to think is like, I wish I did this heli hike, but I didn't do, we didn't get to do it because, like she was sick or this or that, And I feel like this is your opportunity to never think that back, and to make sure that when you remember your trip to New Zealand, there's no dark patches, because, well, the way we're wired as humans, we always remember the negative first. And I keep on saying I have nothing. Usually, my partner, Laura, does want to do even more things than I want, so I am never complaining. I'm just putting myself in the shoes of somebody that would not be happy. Please, don't send me to the couch.
Okay.
Also, I did not sleep with that waitress.
Okay.
What?
Well, I'll ask Laura anyway. Number 6, learn about yourself. It's such a great time to learn about yourself.
I mean, traveling alone is literally when you're gonna be facing challenges. There is no way, like, no what does it say? No good plan survive contact with the enemy, right? So you can plan as much as you want your trip. Was it Patton that said that? I think that's Patton that said that. Anyway, I hope I am making so many of those things. But I think Patton said that. I think
I don't know. It's
or
okay.
Churchill. Anyway, or Roosevelt. Actually, that's Roosevelt. Here you go. Anyway, Roosevelt said that. In the comments, just tell me
We don't
who
even
said
know
that.
what
Here you go.
the quote is at this point.
Yeah, no plan survives contact with the enemy.
Oh, thank
Roosevelt.
you. Yes. Okay.
Right. Anyway, we didn't get lost.
Learn about yourself. You're
Yes,
gonna learn about
yourself. Anyway, so you're gonna plan as much as you want when doing your trip to New Zealand, but things are gonna go wrong. If you're on your own and you have no backup, you will have to sort things out yourself.
Yeah.
And this is when you're gonna become your own woman or your own man.
Yeah.
This is when you're gonna realize what you're made of, what you can achieve on your own with no backup. Because guess what? The rest of your life is gonna be a lot of those things.
It's a lot of those things. And yeah, it really forces you to go against and try new things that you've never done and to put yourself in situations that and accomplish things that you didn't realize that you could accomplish. I mean, because you just kind of live in the world in your head. And until you're forced to deal with something that's different, with a difficult situation or a difficult person, you don't really know what you're made of.
And even when you're going to be facing the basic social terror, right? You are by yourself, you know nobody, there is a bunch of people over there that you love to hang out with. Well, you got to introduce yourself. Nowadays, this is something which is absolutely foreign to most of us,
true.
right? We literally just meet people online all the time, right?
Online.
Guess what? You are going to be faced with that social terror. You're going to hop on that bus, or you're going to arrive at that hostel, or you're going to arrive at that activity, and you'll be like, you know what? I'm going to be in that tour with those people. I'm going to do this with those people. You have to introduce yourself. You have to break the ice. You have to make friends for the first time, despite being in your late 20s. It is terrifying. You will have to face it. But once you've done it multiple times, then you're not scared.
Yeah.
You're not scared anymore. I make new friends quite regularly because
Yeah.
They need to cycle. But I make new friends regularly, but I'm not scared of it because I have learned that throughout my travels.
Yeah, because you practice. You know, everybody's like, I'm not good at making phone calls, or I don't want to talk to somebody, but practice.
And the best thing is that if you mess it up, that's random
right.
German dude over there, you're never gonna see him
never
again.
going to see again, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then you meet him at the next hostel and it's super awkward, which, the best.
I have a feeling that this actually happened to you.
For once, I'd be silent.
Okay.
This is rare. Enjoy.
It is rare. Okay. Number 7, growing in confidence. So traveling alone can help you grow in confidence.
Well, I feel like we just touched on that point quite a lot. But yeah, definitely. I mean, when you have had to accomplish all those things yourself, when you have had to put yourself into those social situations and you nail them, you will stuff a few of them up, right? I was trying not to say the bad word. So you will stuff it up a couple of times, right? But once you start nailing it regularly, then you're going to start realizing you can achieve anything. You can do it yourself. You did wreck that car in the middle of the night on the South Island, and you still managed to sort it out, got that new car sorted, and still caught back with your itinerary. All those kind of things, you did that within that one night. If you can do that, you will be able to deal with that, whatever life throws at you. And I feel like this is literally the genesis of confidence.
And growing in confidence means being okay with making mistakes. And then the confidence comes from you overcoming these things and surviving it, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that, hey, I'm okay, I'm gonna be okay. And to just sometimes be honest, okay, I messed up your car, or, just doing the right thing and really helps. And just, confidence is a big thing. And I think that if you're at that younger age and you're going and you're doing a tour, I think that that's really good.
And I feel like that's a really good point. The confident person is okay to make mistakes, but I feel like the person which is the most okay with making mistake make less mistakes, and that's the thing. It's a virtuous circle. You create this one. The more you are okay with your mistake, because you're going to learn from it and you're never going to make that mistake again. The more you're going to grow out of it, and you're going to be like, you know what? That's fine. I learned from this one. And you're not going to make mistake because you have that confidence. Confident people tend to make less mistakes because, well, they're confident enough to nail whatever they attempt.
And they're just not afraid to try new things.
Exactly.
Because
the more you try new things, the less scary it is.
Yeah, that you know. Oh, such good advice. Okay, number 8, embrace me time. it's your time to travel, and you can just kind of do and be honest about what you want to do. I think that that's hard for sometimes it's hard for women who have just, are always serving other people to just be like, okay, it's my time.
Oh, I think, you know what we need to put on your t-shirts right here? Rather than putting Kiwi American, we put #LifeCoach right here. Because that's literally that's genuinely what it is.
I mean,
anyway.
This is free advice.
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome. You don't need to go to the counseling this week.
But absolutely. Being able to have like embracing more yourself, right? Being more, again, we talked about confidence, knowing who you are, knowing what you want to achieve in life. All that comes from spending some time on your own. Being in a group all the time, you become part of that herd, that mentality,
yes.
and being able to just disconnect and just being you and finding genuinely who you are. That's super important.
Because I think in our culture, it's really hard to be quiet. And, it's really hard to just kind of take that time to, what do I really think about this?
Yeah.
What do I really feel about this? So like you're saying, like you gain so many of the values that are just traditional in your family, but like, do I actually value this? Is this the person that I want to be? And like, it just becomes you, and you have a choice, of who you're going to be. You're a product of how you were raised, but like as an adult, then you can choose, the type of person that you're going to be. But it's not until you hit those obstacles do you really know. So, Okay, number 9. Another reason to travel alone is to meet more people.
Nobody wants to hang out with the couples. The cute couples at the back of the hostel over there. Nobody's hanging out with them.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point.
But the people, the two, you get two German girls which are just by themselves over there. They're gonna cross eyes and they're gonna start to say, oh yeah, we're gonna cook together and we're gonna hang out together and everything. Yes. The couples kind of feel like you're disturbing them. They're in their own bubble, right? You don't have the bubble. But when you're traveling solo, you don't have a bubble. The bubble is already pierced, and therefore you're gonna be able to meet more people. Also, you have the flexibility. You don't have to tend to the needs to another person. You don't have to put all your attention on that other person. You can meet more people. You can meet people from all around the world because there is so many different nationalities traveling around New Zealand, and you're gonna have friends and couches to sleep on all around the world.
And what I find is the people that choose to travel or choose to take that gap year are the coolest people. So you're gonna want to meet them. They are really fun and really great, and that's true. Like the couples, you don't really, And if you're not an outgoing person and I love to meet new people, but like there's people that don't love to do that, that's okay. But, there's just a lot that you can learn from other people. So don't just not do that.
Yeah, and
also
don't
just live on your phone.
Yeah, and one other thing as well, if you're not an outgoing person, by no means this video should be go and talk to people and stop being so socially awkward and all that. It's not going to be that. But by traveling solo, other people will approach you, and then you just have to be a yes man or a yes woman. Yeah. And at that point, if you are that yes man, that yes woman, then you are going to be able to meet a ton of people without having to be the one breaking the ice, because it's really scary at the beginning and slowly it's going to grow, and maybe, who knows, you're going to be the person breaking the ice next. So in my opinion, I think you definitely should travel alone if you feel like you are.
Sounds great.
Yeah. You want to forge that person.
Okay, number 10, get to love yourself. Get to really know yourself so that you can love, who you are and be confident in the person that you are and what you believe in, what you like, what you don't like. It's hard to become that. Like, I feel like I am in my, I'm not going to say my age, but
21 on the t-shirt. 21.
21. It's not until now that you just really kind of find your voice, who you are, what do you think, and be okay with that, and not being, I'm a people pleaser by nature. so that's been a hard one for me to overcome, but what do I like to do? What's important to me, what do I value is good.
I think that it's kind of a great point to finish on, because it's kind of a circle back, right? We started by talking about you can become whoever you want to be, and that you were locked out of being that person. And therefore, by doing all that, you're going to love yourself, because you truly, you're only going to love yourself when you truly become yourself and who you want it to be, right? So you become who you want to be, and therefore you love that damn person, and then you can start kissing that mirror.
But also, I think going through these experiences, you will realize you'll fine-tune your strengths and your weaknesses, and you'll be okay with that. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Nobody needs to be like super insecure and not confident and all of this, because everybody has it. Everybody struggles with something. or lots of things.
I mean, yeah,
You know?
everybody
And, like-
has these things that they're really self-conscious about.
Yeah.
It. Like I'm happy to say it. I'm terrible. I'm super self-conscious about my English. Every single time I watch a video about it, I'm like, I speak too fast. I butcher half the words. People point that out super often as well. I'm super self-conscious about it, but I'm putting myself in those positions in which no matter what, I have to do it. And now I'm really okay with it, and it's fine. The haters gonna hate. People are
Yes,
gonna
you
understand me
still have to be
sometimes if
yourself.
I
Yeah.
speak slower sometimes, but you know, it's fine. So you will also know like what you're self-conscious about. It's not going to disappear, you know, from one
No.
day to another, but you'll be okay with it. And I think that this is
And that's a
something I
huge
learned when
part.
traveling.
And that's
yeah.
what we're saying about loving yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just know that. Okay, so not to keep talking because I could, but extra tips. Let's talk about some extra tips for people that are thinking about traveling alone. So, I really like this one that you put down, packing games. That's
Oh
really-
wow! Okay, we're jumping to number 5.
I'm jumping.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, packing some games.
I'm just picking one that I like.
I'm a really big gamer. I love board games. You can find some videos on our channel of awesome travel board games if you want some recommendation. Oh no, that's your video. No, are you putting?
Oh
it?
no, you
Yeah,
can.
okay,
I
here.
can do your
Here.
videos. No
Here
problem.
you go. There is my recommendation of best travel board game to travel with. So yeah, packing some board
that's
games
great,
and
that's
setting it
great.
up in like the hostel or even the hotel lobby or the campground, everything, and say, hey, do you want to try it? Absolutely fantastic to break the ice. It has created some of my best memories when traveling around. And despite the fact that I mostly travel with the couple, usually we pack some games, usually we play games, and this is how we meet people because we make sure that our
that's
bubble
true.
is burst using board games.
Yeah, no, I like that because I think it's something that I always don't think of. My husband always thinks of bringing the games to some of my kids, but like games are just, you know, especially when you're like traveling alone, since that's what we're really talking about, then you have something to do or something that, you know, if you meet somebody, you can say, hey, you want to play this? You know,
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do? You know, like...
Yeah, and it's also usually make people curious because not like most of the travel board games are not necessarily mainstream, so it usually draws the crowd.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. I like that. Okay, cool. How about some extra tips are staying in hostels?
I absolutely love hostels. I'm just gonna say it right out of that.
Yeah,
Even right now that you know we really not traveling backpacker style or anything like that nowadays. The fact that you have a communal kitchen, cook in the kitchen at busy time and try to borrow salt. This is how you make friends. That's literally the best way to
That's
start a
100%
conversation.
how I haven't been in a hostel, if I'm going to be honest, because
Okay.
I got this huge family. But I would love to.
Best way to meet people. I've met all the friends that I've met when traveling
Have you
around New
met
Zealand.
crazy people though? Have you had to like room with people that are like?
No, really. One time when traveling with Laura, there was a really crazy guy in one hostel. But I've stayed in over 300 hostels around New Zealand.
And you
so,
really
I mean,
have had one bad
Yeah, I
experience?
can't like one time there was
Well,
this crazy
that's
guy.
really
but there
good
was,
info.
Yeah, no. Honestly, hostels are fantastic in New Zealand.
Oh, that's
you can
great.
meet. Don't follow horror movies.
Yeah.
Hostels.
No,
are
I think
not
a lot of
that
people
bad.
come in there like could be nervous about that and not sure, but yeah.
No,
that's
I mean
good.
most of my best friends that I met when traveling in New Zealand, literally this relationship started by like we were both cooking our own meal in the kitchen, and it's kind of like, oh, can I borrow some salt? Hey, where are you from? It's always the same questions. Where are you from? What's the
No,
last
it's
place you
always the
visited?
same.
Where are you going next? You know, there's 4 questions that you're going to be asking hostels.
Yeah.
Ask us in the comment below if you want us to cover that in the next video. But yeah,
Yes.
there's only 4 or 5 questions that you need to know, be prepared with as icebreakers when traveling in hostels.
You should just write it
Yeah.
and text it to him. I'm just gonna answer your
Yeah,
questions
I
right
know.
now.
It's literally it's your social. We should do a video about hostel social lubricants.
Yes.
And this literally that's gonna be on there. Those five topics of
Social
conversation.
etiquette in hostels. How about? Okay.
Yeah. No, not social etiquette. There's so much in there. I mean, there's so many people that don't get the social etiquette.
Oh well,
I'm gonna rant for an hour.
Really?
Can't do that.
well you could I guess it's not gonna be boring. Let's just say that. Okay. I really like your tip about meet people on Facebook groups before they come.
There's
That's
plenty
great.
of backpacking Facebook groups. We have a whole
so cool.
article on NZ Pocket Guide recommending some groups. Go in the group, see if some people have similar travel days than you. You may be able to meet them beforehand. That may help you break the ice. But honestly, that's the tip that I will do the least, just because I do like this social terror and vanquishing, taming the social terror beast within you, and breaking that.
Well, what about like safety and stuff? Like I feel like if I'm thinking about for women, especially like traveling alone, I would think it feels to me like I haven't traveled alone too much in New Zealand, but I feel like it's pretty safe here.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start gushing about Laura, which is my partner. If you guys are watching that on Tara's channel, you can see Laura and I traveling around New Zealand on NZ Pocket Guide. That's the YouTube channel, and nzpocketguide.com. Anyway, that's the person I'm traveling always with, right? And she arrived in New Zealand as a solo female traveler. And yeah, she had the guts to do it because she's a ballsy lady. She's absolutely awesome. And when traveling around New Zealand, right, she made heaps of friends. She lived in a house in Queenstown with 18 other people. You know, she worked in like ski fields and you know, other kind of jobs and everything. And she's done all of that all on her own. And the way she reassured herself, from, you know, by traveling alone without, without really of a backup, was to make sure that she always made friends. If you had friends, you're not a target. And so honestly, she was kind of a little bit of a geek, and she says that all the time. We actually have a video about her literally taking one-on-one, because I don't want to man talk you ladies. She will do that talk way better than me. There is a link up there. She will do that talk way better than me, but seriously,
we'll link it.
She made so many friends all along the way. She was really kind of a little socially awkward and everything like that, but she put herself out there and she vanquished that scare of like meeting new people. And every single time she arrived in the hostel or she hopped on the bus, she always kind of made eye contact with people, made some friends, and man, she's absolutely awesome. And she never felt frightened because she was always surrounded by people and always having a good time. And you know, if you look confident, you're never going to be the target of anything. With that in mind, New Zealand is not a dangerous country by any stretch of the imagination, just to make that super clear, right? But, you know, if you have this extra step, if you look confident or if you're surrounded with people, there is no way you're ever going to be a target. And yeah.
So then are you really traveling alone if you're surrounded?
You never travel alone. There is no way to travel alone. Aside from like Liti packing a backpack and deciding to cross the Sahara, you're never going to travel alone. Traveling alone is not a solo experience. Traveling alone is a personal experience that you enhance with amazing meets. Most of the people you're going to talk to when you talk about traveling around and say, I solo backpack around Europe and everything, they're going to talk to you about all the people that they met and all those friends. They're either going to be like fleeting things that you're going to do an activity with or share a meal with, and then it's gone, or they're going to be someone you're going to spend 2-3 days with, and you're always going to hear stories about people. Traveling solo is not traveling alone is not a solo experience by no stretch of the imagination. Anyway, link to the video for the boss lady.
Check it out. Sounds great.
Yeah, hear it straight from the boss lady rather than hearing from me.
Okay, some other tips I'm just going to go through real quick. Do a backpacker tour.
Like bus full of like-minded people. Why not? That's a good way to meet people.
Nice. And go to pubs.
Yeah, or pub crawls. There is a lot of pub crawls running around Queenstown and Auckland.
Do they have pub crawls?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Like you get a bunch of people. There's
I know what it is.
In summer in Auckland, there is like close to 300 people in pub crawl, and you get to meet a lot of people. Not everybody gets on the bender. You know, I did pub crawl, and so if you guys don't know, pub crawl is basically you will pay about like $25 and you get vouchers for drinking each of the different 5 bars where you're going to be going. And you got to get a guy with a megaphone that's going to say, hey, we go to the next pub, and they keep on going. Sometimes they play games and this and that. You kind of like break the ice and everything. But usually you just get a bunch of people and being kind of like, and then you find a group and you hang out with those people. Nice. And you definitely can have only those 5 drinks and be absolutely fine. And there is always going to be those Irish boys of a band of boys of like 3 or 5 that are going to be drinking way too much and go on an absolute bender. There's always going to be those guys. There's going to be always going to be that crowd, but you definitely do not have to do that, and you can still meet people. So
and also you could get a job depending on your visa, I guess.
So if you come in New Zealand as a backpacker on a working holiday visa, getting a job is a great way to meet some friends, because you cannot have to hang out with your coworkers for about 8 hours a day. May as well be friends. And
that's true. And just also learning about New Zealand culture, the way that they do things. I mean, that's part of it's just about having the experience. Like I remember when I came and I went for my first job interview, I actually that morning was like, I don't know if I should bother because I really don't have much time, and like I don't know how I'm going to get there, and but I went for the experience of the interview and going through it, and I'm so glad I went. I ended up getting the job and doing it, but like just go and do experiences, meet people, do things, say yes to things you wouldn't normally say yes to. Stop thinking that you are this person in your head. Go and experience. Like so many people are like, I don't like that, but they've never tried it.
At the end of the day, when you travel in a new country and you know no one, you are literally the person you decide to be when you wake up in the morning. So be wherever you want to be. I've been different people in many of my trips, and I was unhappy with some of them, then I change it for the next trip. It's fine.
And then there you go.
Here you go.
All right, well, thanks for joining us today again, Robin from New Zealand Pocket Guide. So definitely check it out. If you are coming to New Zealand, you're going to want that. And
how can I get myself a t-shirt that says NZ Pocket Guide?
Yeah.
Look at this nice
get
pro.
one of these.
Yes.
This is actually
I wanted to say NZ Pocket Guide. Can you do that?
Yes, you can. You
can.
It can say anything you want.
Can I get that for cheaper?
I put my age on here and my brand, and so so I'll put a link.
Can I get a discount?
You can. You can get 10% off.
There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Those
with the link
so
below.
good.
You can get 10% off. You can customize it. We got baseball. We got American football. We got.
I'm going now. Oh my God.
We got
this is amazing.
Basketball jerseys, and you can customize them. And there's 1,000 different styles and colors and however you want.
So you don't have to design the logo like that. You just type the words. Or
Well,
do you have to?
I typed the word, but I picked this particular font. I think is what you're asking.
Okay. Yeah.
And so but there was
So
all
I don't have to
different
be a
ways.
graphic designer.
No, you just type in
good.
the word, type in the number. There was other things I could add. Actually, my logo's on the back. And so it's cool. So I'll put the link in the description if you're interested. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.